Fellow Biafrans, on the occasion of your rally to demonstrate your solidarity with the struggles of your kith and kin back home, I send to you all fraternal greetings. As one who has been entrusted with the onerous responsibilities of guiding our young republic through these difficult times, I must confess that it is always a source of deep pleasure and encouragement to me to receive assurances of the support of the people and their continuing determination to persevere until complete victory is achieved. It is, therefore, with feelings of unbounded pleasure and deep appreciation that I salute this august gathering. You are all aware that for over 4 months now, Nigeria has been waging a war of aggression to destroy Biafra and her people. This invasion by Nigerian hordes was mounted because the people of the former eastern region of Nigeria were forced on May the 30th, 1967, to declare themselves the independent state of Biafra in order to assure the security of their lives and property. As you are aware, the people of the former eastern region of Nigeria had believed, as if it were an article of faith, in the concept of a united Nigeria. No section of the then Federation of Nigeria had worked as assiduously for the attainment of this ideal as did Eastern Nigeria and her people. No section had made as many and varied positive contributions towards the realization of true unity. Having over the years spearheaded the movement for closer union, having demonstrated our faith in Nigeria in concrete terms by allowing our sons and daughters to sojourn in other parts of the country, thereby contributing tremendously to the development of such areas to the neglect of our own, it was a hard decision for us to take to opt out of a federation in which we had invested so much. But we had no real choice. Over the years, our erstwhile compatriots had made it clear in unmistakable terms that they did not want us in the Federation. Since the 1950s, our people were expropriated and discriminated against in parts of Nigeria other than their own. Furthermore, the experience of the 3 harrowing waves of remorseless genocide in 1945, 1953, and especially in 1966, involving a total of nearly 40,000 dead and countless others maimed or destitute, provided an object lesson which could not but be taken seriously. Self-preservation is probably the strongest human instinct, and it is this that has compelled the harassed and persecuted people of Eastern Nigeria to seek refuge in their own home and amongst their kindred. As a proverb of one of our Biafran languages has it, a man who is rejected by others cannot reject himself. The inordinate ambition of the Hausa Fulani oligarchy to continue to dominate the whole of what was formerly the Federation of Nigeria, the unrealistic desire to acquire the wealth and resources of Biafra while rejecting their people, the mad and homicidal desire to exterminate from the face of the earth 14 million Biafrans drove Gawan and his clique towards unleashing a costly war to attain the unattainable, the subjugation of this young but promising republic. Even with the vast resources of the former Federation of Nigeria with which to prosecute the war, even with the active collaboration of those international opportunists, Britain and the Soviet Union, an unholy alliance of vested interests, even with the attempt to subvert our government by suborning some of our highly placed military and civilian personnel, an attempt which was foiled at the nick of time, Gawan has failed to make good his boast to crush Biafra. A campaign which he bragged would only take 48 hours to accomplish has now dragged on for almost 5 months and will drag on for as long as it takes Gawan and his clique, both Nigerian and others, to realize that nothing can shake the will or crush the spirit of a determined people. If Gawan's military campaign has achieved anything, it is only a confirmation of the fact that Biafrans have nothing to expect but destruction from the hands of their erstwhile Nigerian compatriots. In the few border towns which fell into the hands of the Nigerian forces, Biafrans were pillaged and what could not be stolen was destroyed, while the men were shot and tortured and the women defiled. Even foreign correspondents have testified to the massive killings of people of Biafran origin and a particular ethnic grouping in the Republic of Benin when that young republic fell into the hands of the Nigerians as a result of treachery. Instead of accepting the fact and the truth which they know, that they forced the people of the former eastern region out of the Federation, the Nigerian aggressors have been attempting to dupe the world by claiming that we seceded in order to keep our oil wealth to ourselves. You all know that in spite of our oil and other resources, the former eastern Nigerians were always the greatest advocates of unity. General Ironsi, himself an Easterner, was murdered by the northern Nigerians because of his determination to unify the country. For a people who have made such great sacrifices and abandoned their most valuable investments in Nigeria in quest for safety, this is the unkindest thing to say. No, it is the Nigerian leaders themselves who are in fact guilty of what they accuse us of and have shown beyond doubt that they are only interested in having our resources and not our people. Our detractors have also attempted to confuse African and indeed world opinion by propagating the despicable falsehood that our independence will be a precedent for separation in other African states. They have not bothered to ask themselves, for instance, what was the precedent for the alleged Biafran secession? The truth is that one secession does not necessarily lead to another. Throughout history, there has been a long list of empires that broke up into nations and federations which split into sovereign states. The Union of Great Britain and Ireland, the federations of Mali, Malaysia, West Indies, and Central Africa are recent examples of this. The disintegration occurred on account of unique local factors or to grave linguistic and religious differences. Biafra, however, remains a lesson to all countries of what could happen if they were to unleash a pogrom against a section of their own community. Amongst other spurious arguments trumped up by the Lagos clique is another that Nigeria is a single, interdependent economic unit and that its disintegration would disrupt established market trends and leave the separate economies so much poorer. It is true that as between the regions of the former Nigerian Federation, the economic pattern was one of interdependence, but this is equally true of all world economies which are complementary. But this should not make us to try and force unworkable political units on an unwilling people merely to create a large market. It is enough for both states to enter into trade and technical agreements. With more efficient planning, these separate units could even be made economically more prosperous. This also disproves the argument that Nigeria would not be viable without Biafra. Perhaps Nigeria may be poorer for it, and it should have occurred to its leaders to be more tolerant of people who they now admit constituted their wealth. But the rest of Nigeria has enough potentiality to remain a great and united African state, if only its leaders would show realism and imagination in harnessing their vast potential resources. The Nigerian leaders demonstrated their scorn for African opinion, which they are now trying desperately to cultivate by refusing to accept our calls for a peaceful resolution of our conflict through the good offices of many African states. Even when they had reluctantly agreed to the Organization for African Unity's desire to mediate, they are taking steps to frustrate their efforts. Biafra is no longer asking for anyone's mediation, but is willing at all times, as in the past, to resolve its conflict with Lagos at the conference table. The Organization of African Unity has shown itself insensitive to our suffering and incapable of resolving the crisis. A so-called mediation, which presumes that there is only one side to a dispute and can go to every length to appease that side, cannot be expected to be fair, objective, and just. The present conflict can now be resolved by individual states taking initiative by recognizing our right to existence and urging on Nigeria to abandon her war of aggression against an injured people.
Thank you.
Having failed on all scores,
this is the whole judgment.
The Nigerians have raised the bogey of a minority in Biafra being forced into independence against their wish.
Approaching you to be Nigeria,
this again is far from the truth. Our people, irrespective of their ethnic grouping, have shown conclusively their commitment to and support of the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Biafra by their sacrifice in blood and contribution to the war effort. The decision to declare the sovereign and independent state of Biafra was a unanimous one made by the chiefs, leaders, and representatives of all communities in Biafra at the Consultative Assembly and Council of Chiefs and Elders. The so-called representatives of the minorities in Lagos have never had any popular backing, were defeated in elections in their own homes during the civilian era, and have since been denounced by their own people. Some of them, like Okoye Arikpo, are themselves guilty of intellectual dishonesty, since they were party or sponsors of the constitutional proposals creating the present provinces of the Republic of Biafra in order to allay minority fears. Our people know enough of Lagos and can testify that the massacre of thousands of then Eastern Nigerians was irrespective of tribal affiliation. The bombing and other military brutalities since Biafran independence have followed the same pattern. Having suffered together, they are now united together in solidarity to fight on to victory, to assure a place of honor and respect for themselves and their children. When the Lagos Vandals realized that they were doomed to failure, they, along with their foreign megaphones like the BBC, thought that they could win by pretending to be doing so. They are trying to make the world believe that they have taken Enugu, that the war is virtually ended, and that they are now engaged in the task of reconstruction. Nothing is further from the truth. Our valiant forces have continued to keep the enemy at the few border towns and zones they have captured by treachery. The gallant Biafran forces are now in control of most of the Enugu and Bonny and are gradually wiping out the enemy invaders at Calabar. They have also re-entered Ogoja. The Nigerian troops will never forget the lesson of their Onitsha invasion, where thousands of their men were decimated. Our troops are fighting bravely and will continue to do so until victory is won. The Nigerians appear not to know that by unleashing a war of aggression, in addition to several past injuries, they have aroused a whole people against them. This is a people's war for freedom. Biafra has come to stay, and the fact of our independence is irreversible.
Biafra have come to stay.
Ours is a nation of 14 million people with various ethnic groupings, united together by past sufferings and present freedom, and nothing can shake our determination. Conscious of the justness of their cause, and with God on our side, our people are determined to fight to the last man, confident of eventual success. May God bless you all, fellow Biafrans, and keep and protect Biafra.
Thank you. Thank you, Mochineke. I have closed the program, but I just want to teach you. We are exposing them. We need to expose them. Ebojuku badishoku, obachala nishoku. Do battery magugo. But after listening to it, continue to share. That is where the problem is. That is where anybody that beg you. But you need to be Nigeria getting your area. Okwa 16 minutes so Ishioku na ne ka okpara here. But it is shaking. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Ndi akwadoro. Okwa m ka mecha program na. But the spirit I should play this very Ishioku Ojukwu kpara. Ka ya edo anya onye gere ugbu a ga sị na ga ewuru onye Nigeria ka onye ga-agwa gị ewuru onye Nigeria ị ka nidire ewu ya Ojukwu akọchala ihe niile ugbo ọ na-ekwu okwu igecha ya share it to the enemy. I will not proceed in broadcasting, but we will be destroying them one by one, fact and figures. Thank you. May Okike continue to guide and protect us. Share it so that they will listen and know the problem. We committed nothing. All the allegation, Haburojuku, Okucharia hit Chaya, and today hearing now name, and the Amakon way Haimer. Today IPOB destroy go kwa down. So all those things after hearing a language, us in Biafra have come to stay. I Ojuku Kura, what I go Kuria, Oshukwa no Yapota. Ihe a na-agụrụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu oli Nnamdi Kanu onye agwọrọ Maazị Nnamdi Ojukwu onye agwọrọ Odumegwu Ojukwu is another savior. So ihe ndị a niile adịgo hapụ na ha bịara na-atụgharị some things. So we brought this thing for you to know ebe anyị nọ. A broadcast going before 1 hour, almost 2 hours. So I just brought this one now. At least he get a word. He get a challenge enemy from Ojukwu. You will get a word. Continue to share. I have low battery and I will round it up here. Battery, my mom is 10. I'm not zoo. So I need to charge it and the data about that. Come to means in the evening. We must continue to destroy them in truth and in honesty, because our eternal leader Ojukwu ekuchari here niile before anybody abia wiku. So Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, he honors now he use those documents those documents nwa Zik ị ga-arị nara Zik agwa ya mba na the documents dị ọkụ. Eruzie mgbe Zik ị chọrọ ịnwụzi na London, ya zi ozi ebulata ya sị ka ebula ya Enugu, ebulata Enugu buga ya na UNTH. Mgbe ebugara na UNTH, ya nọrọ dị a na-etirite ya. Mgbe Zik chọziri ịnwụ, ya zizi ozi ka akpọ Ojukwu ya na ya na-adịghị na mma. Ezizi ozi akpọ Ojukwu abatazie banye n'ime ebe ahụ, ezi ozi agwa ndị pres onye ọbụla apụọ dị ya. Ojukwu apụtawazie buruzie faịlụ pụtawa. Ha na-ajụzi ya ka ihe Zik kwuru, baden Zik anwụgo. Ya gwa ha banye ime ebe ahụ ga-ajụọ ya Zik. So o nwere many things ndị on, o nwere things Ojukwu gwara ya nwa ya na the file dị hot kwa. Mgbe ọbụla Ojukwu ebughị ewe ụwaziri ike, obunye gị ụwaziri ike. He was watching ụwaziri ike, right? Understand this na ihe ndị akwadoro akwado. We will round it up here. May Okike continue to guide us and protect us. Always give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that in the end, this very Biafra will remain unique in his eye because things we'll do will be the greatest. Thank you. I know n'etiti so ihe ọbụla anyị na-eme anyị ga na-ahazi ya because ụwa niile na-ahụzu anyị anya. We are at the center of the world. I keep broadcasting. Mgbe ọbụla I check while I'm time. I'm going to get 1 hour time. I want a battery. Then I'm going to data. I can still come with a topic. We need to be running up and down. We'll be running day and night. Run it day and night. Ya go do good Biafra ka ibra play. Ya go hanante. Ya go do na ibra na go Nnamdi Kanu. Ka go where no life. So say ka na go. Ma obia life no na eti free Nnamdi Kanu. Free Nnamdi Kanu. Na go na eti life. It will go a long way. You can go live on your Facebook, free Nnamdi Kanu, free Nnamdi, even if you cover the way, even if me get post, we post. When you think hala playing hala live video, you were live. Go play how no free Nnamdi Kanu, free Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you. Okay. Okay, he asked Wazirike, are you the one? Are you the one? Are you the one to come from Omahia? Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So we'll talk about Simon when I want to do drop Rocano. Coach again, the Emma young Mr. Chairman Apoga in abroad. Kanu. So so you must understand hotel, right? Understand the level right? So only truth direct Ojukwu ji okwe ezie mmadụ maka the betrayal enyere during the war. Only drone ga trust. Then Israel no nwa they were following since half flow Wazirike nwebe ọ na-aga. Israeli government niile na follow ha need onye ga-apụta here. So director ka ha follow ye ya ọfụma because Israel are like any ihe ga-emebi their history. Ha achọghị iso onye ga-emebi their history. After ha hụrụ our leader Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, ha ma na Ojukwu enwego replacement, right? Ha ji pụtawazi ihe. Israel a na-apụta ihe ọbụla Israel pụtara ihe ma not serious because their history na-eme a mistake. For ha nwee na showcase na issue of Biafra means that na ha go the truth and ha amago na director so na amụma ndị eboro ha and a gwara ha na ha ga-enwere onwe ha ma obodo ha kpafuru akpafu ha ga-enwerego onwe ha and n'ọnwa anyị nwa ga-enyere ha aka alụ ọgụ Jerusalem ịma na ndị Muslim niile a na-etinye ma ndị a Taliban ha ahụ ma ndị a were ele ha na kpele country ha were Afghanistan ihe niile a na-akwado ma ihe mere ji Biden a na-prepare nations ndị ga-alụsa Israel ọgụ ka a drag ya Jerusalem ahụ Trump return Chineke si na onye nga return Jerusalem ọ dị ka na Isaiah 45 ka ọ gịnị na ọ ga-agwa ekwu okwu na ọ ga-atụ mmadụ ọbụla ego ọ ga-return Jerusalem ọ Trump o mege ya then agha Jerusalem na-abịa ọ ya ka ndị Muslim na-akwado na-etinye Islamic presidents na-etake over some places Chineke na-erelease kwanụ ndị ga-enyere Israel aka na-enye ha freedom ha ga-adị much but anyị nwa ga-adọta ndị mmadụ right? So Biafra must be free. They cannot start the war now. Maya be free. Oya mere Israel ji baye AU. Ha rush gida baye AU. Ka ha nwe interest ha ji abata eba. Right? Because I kwuru ha nwa akwuru, ha enwe branch. Nwo their own. Owo dey ka anyị ga akọrọ mmadụ. Nke awo nwanne direct nwanne Israel need ya here na Africa. Then ka ebe ndị ọzọ ha chọrọ ime nwanne na Africa ngeji nwe grand ma Biafra enwebere onwe ha. No way. That's why they are fighting. Aga ekpughe nwuru gị underground work Israel na-arụ ka ị nwere onwe gị. Today na Ambazonia enwerela onwe ha. Israel ahụla ebe ha si abata again. Ọ ha niile rụrụ nkata onye ọbụla tiri aka ka Israel la ka ha hụ ebe ha si abata. Ka Ambazonia la. So understand these things. Yeah, very spiritual matter. I prepare. Understand this. We are going somewhere. Program move but I will cut it somehow. Our people are there. They have joined in listening. But all make to some things now. After I get to the program, so make we to know some things. Make you open. Can we get back at the thing on up? Cause we get analysis. Director will go with the news in greater details. The news in greater details. Somebody should correct me. Okay. Freemason Namdekano now. This is a news. Here, now Expo. Yeah, we a very new method, right? Just come live. Come in the morning. Come in the afternoon. Come in the night. Just if you have the Freemason Namdekano. Freemason Namdekano. Joy Adikogu. Utana Jogu. You will keep boy you will asa. Yes, he cannot bear 7 times. Freemason Namdekano. Freemason Namdekano. Freemason Namdekano. 37 times. Or give me 10 times. Right? More give me 5 times. Even higher life release the koga. I encode down. Happen saying hashtag who is it? You can encode it. No quick life. When you clicking her, Kaibu na net. The whole life video you Freemason Namdekano. Remember the house echo. Understand this. Very, very important. I am landing it up. May Okike protect and guide you. This is LSIPOB evangelist from Homeland Studio here in Biafra land. From me from here, it is good morning. All right.